Hey guys, we deciding my group and I were deciding to speak about Adolf Hitler, and I've chosen to pick the topic on his vision and what it was for his country, and for his countrymen and women. Adolf Hitler, he had a vision, and revolved, it involved major reordering of not only the fatherland but its conquered countries. So this man really wanted to just change everything about Germany, the way it ran, the economy, everything about it. Um, Nobody really knew what his vision was until a little bit later. Stuff started coming out little by little. He was getting his feet wet and just kind of going full force, but just doing it one at a time. He was very sneaky. He also lied. That was part of his vision, was to get things done not truthfully. He started off with a strict gun control, so that way citizens who fought back wouldn't be a major threat. So he wanted to just kind of pretty much get the people's guns, make it really hard for them to get guns, so that way they had no way to fight back. Some of his vision revolved around expanding the Aryan race. That's people that were white, you know, German, um, German people. He just pretty much favored every other race. He didn't really care for. He hated the Jews. He wanted to eliminate the Jews, and he even built concentration camps. That was his vision, to build concentration camps for the Jewish people and for crippled people, for gypsies, and for anybody else that just kind of stood in his way. He had a vision of doing this. It's called like a labor camp, and he pretty much lied. He would lie to the Jews and say that it was, to just put them there for they can work, and it was horrible. He wanted to eliminate all of them, and he killed thousands and thousands of Jews, millions of Jews actually. Um, Adolf Hitler had a vision to change the educational system and converting the economy into a socialist state controlled entity. And again, he pretty much wanted to change everything about how Germany ran, um, and how the other countries that they conquered, how they ran, and the way they operated. And he was very successful. His vision actually came to pass. He built the labor camps. He changed the educational system. He changed the way the army operated. He changed. He just had so much control over these people, and a lot of Jews had died because of it. They suffered greatly. But of course, he didn't conquer. He ended up losing the battle in the end, and you'll hear more from my other classmates about what they're going to be talking about. So that was his vision, and he was a leader in his time. Unfortunately, he chose to have a vision that would only, just worship himself, and it was evil. And he had great power, he had great leadership skills, and he had a lot of people under his control. But unfortunately, he used it for all in the wrong ways. So,
Going to be doing my the group project with Andrew and Vanessa. We're going to be doing it on Adolf Hitler, and I got chosen to do the leadership style of him, and which is kind of difficult because he is a difficult person, and we all knew that he was an evil person, and so that was one of the leadership styles that I picked with Adolf Hitler, and showing that what happened with him and what he did to all those people that he killed. He's really evil. And the evil leadership, the definition is the leader and at least someone following that commit atrocities, which he did. He committed mass murder and sort of atrocities. And they harm done to men, women, and children, which he did. He killed many Jews, uh, and just both just harm. I mean, he even the starvation, the physical, psychological, and both. Uh, and then he was just a really evil person. And then it came to the I saw the heart of darkness right here, and showing that he was a bad person. Can't you can't stop or slow bad leadership, and many people have tried to stop that. Many people tried to assassinate him, and it didn't happen. And one of the and about him is Hitler also combined his instinct with personal control. He was very personal control with the leadership style that often he was indecisive and he was stubborn about things. And one of the stubbornness is when he put these decisions when the military situation that happened in 1943 with the ability to make up his mind in the attack of Kursk, which was in Russia, the Soviet Union. And they were so prepared, and Hitler they drove his forces out. Hitler and Hitler just provided the ideological and the basis for the strategic decision, and the generals they didn't want any part of it anyways, and that was his leadership style. That he was just a very evil leadership, and that he was very stubborn and indecisive, and it just led to the collapse of the Nazi Party. And that's my presentation for leadership style. Thank you.
So now that we have covered Hitler's personal leadership style, we're going to cover the outcomes of his leadership styles. Because he was an exploitive and a non egalitarian person, and he was also very self aggrandizing, pretty much meaning is he raised himself above everybody else. He considered himself better, and the prime example for everybody to follow. And he personally focused on his personal control, which means he wanted to control everything. So what this did is this harmed the relationship with his commanders. They started to not trust him anymore. They no longer wanted to follow his command. And towards the end of the World War II, they slowly started betraying him and looking for ways to remove him from power. He also alienated the ones that he led, which means he wouldn't relinquish any control to them, and he would never speak to them. He just expected them to obey without any say. He also did not trust others, so which means he was still unwilling to allow anybody to gain any control. So he personally wanted an iron fist around his control. He also punished harshly those who made any mistakes. He would not accept any mistake that was made. So if any commander made any little mistake, he dealt with it harshly. He either would execute them or he would remove them from power or leadership position. Um, so this type of leadership always has that type of outcome where your leadership pretty much decides that they no longer want to follow you, and it doesn't. There's lack of motivation, and also the leadership pretty much turn tail. They no longer want to be part of that leadership system, and production will obviously decrease because people feel that they aren't part of the vision anymore, that they are no longer part of the mission that is at hand. And as Hitler progressively got worse and worse, their leadership slowly started to abandon Hitler, and they no longer wanted to be part of Hitler, especially as he started the mass genocide of the Jews. So I guess Hitler you would say would be the prime example of how you would not want to lead, even though he had a vision and he had outlined and he had followers, eventually he became the antithesis to what leadership should be. Thank you.